The air is charged with anticipation as we step into the realm of power scaling in the world of One Piece. Gather around because today we are dissecting the titanic clash between King of the Pirates Gol D. Roger and the strongest man in the world Edward Newgate, who was also known as Whitebeard. Now, some of One Piece fans got different opinions about the winner, but the majority share the same thought, and that is they are equals. However, I don't personally believe in the concept of equality in battles, so get ready for an analysis that goes beyond the surface. I will include anything I know so far to scale them the best way, and there's many questions and explanations in the video that I hope you will answer, and without wasting more time, let's get started. Alright, before I move to scale them, I will debunk the misconceptions and the common excuses that people use all the time to decide who is stronger between Roger and Whitebeard. And this part is actually the most important part of the three in this video because of the questions that you should ask yourself when it comes to power scaling. Let's start with the titles of both, and people say that Whitebeard got his title after Roger's death. But in the Weaver card it says that he attained his title well before the Great Age of Pirates, as he had immense power and an ability that could destroy the world of One Piece. The next common excuse the fans keep saying is that Whitebeard couldn't defeat Roger although he got the power to destroy the world. We don't actually know if Whitebeard used his Devil Fruit in the 3 days fight, because if Whitebeard can destroy the world, wouldn't he be able to destroy an Iceland, or at least, let's say, just destroy a part of it, because Oda says that old Whitebeard can sink an Iceland just by getting angry. So I don't think Whitebeard even used his Devil Fruit in this fight. Even if he did, it won't be serious because this fight doesn't mean that they are equals, and I'll explain why later. Another excuse is Roger was sick but still fought equally with the strongest men. Let's go back to chapter 0, which is canon, and Oda said that this is the history of One Piece in the databook. This chapter is a side story about Shiki, and you can see how strong he was, so go read One Piece chapter 0. Back to Roger's illness, we got his doctor Crocus, who said that Roger is in great shape. And also, it doesn't seem that his illness affects his power like some people imagine. And the question is, how can Roger clash with Whitebeard with the same haki and the same stamina for 3 days? If you think that Roger's illness affects his power, let me see the reason in the comments. And for God Valley, I don't really think that I have to explain this, but Roger and Garp can't solo the Rocks Pirates. In the latest informations about the God Valley incident, it's confirmed that Roger with his crew was there. Also, Garling was there, and if you still remember, Whitebeard told Shanks that the wound he got from that guy acts whenever he looks at Shanks. So, as far as I know, it was Garp with the Navy, Garling with the Holy Knights, and Roger Pirates against the Rocks Pirates, so you are delusional if you still think or believe that Roger and Garp can solo them. Also, it's obvious that the Rocks Pirates only cares about themselves and they were not good team players. So using God Valley incident in power scaling is ridiculous in my opinion, especially after the latest chapters. Now to the funniest reason of all of them, and that's Roger is the Pirate King. Like it or not, Pirate King doesn't indicate strength at all, especially in Roger's era, but not now. It was much easier for Roger to become the Pirate King than Luffy because Roger had almost no competitors. He found the 4 red stones, but now we don't have any idea about the last one. So Roger being the Pirate King doesn't put him above any title like the world's strongest creature among all living things, the world's strongest man, and of course the world's strongest swordsman. Because if you can't become the Pirate King with just power, why would you need someone to read the stones and insane navigator? The last one is Roger's haki is stronger than Whitebeard's haki, but it's not. We know that Whitebeard is not interested of being the Pirate King, and he can obtain that if he want to. And if the reason you think Roger's haki is stronger is because of Kaido's statement, then you are absolutely wrong, because Kaido was trying to imply that haki is better than broken devil fruits, and Roger was the best example because unlike Whitebeard, he is not a devil fruit user. Also, this is not an acknowledgement from Kaido that Roger's haki is stronger than his haki. And keep in mind that Kaido's goal is to start the greatest war ever, so it's not like Kaido wants to One Piece the most as you think. If you got any reason for Roger's haki to be stronger than Whitebeard, let me know in the comments. Alright, let's move to their abilities and capabilities to see who would actually win, because a serious battle should end with a winner. In terms of physical strength, Whitebeard take this with flying colors. When he was a child, he was known for his insane physical strength, and if you look at the informations about the Yonko in Ace novel, you can see that Whitebeard is even stronger than Kaido and Big Mom physically. Big Mom as a child almost destroyed Elbaf just with her insane physical strength, and Kaido is said to be equal to Big Mom, so I don't really think that Roger is like them. Whitebeard, Kaido and Big Mom are monsters in this regard, and I'm talking here about physical strength only and nothing more, just like the novel. The Buccaneers are known for their crazy physical strength, and maybe Whitebeard is one of them, but that's debatable, so give me your opinion. Moving to Haki, and they are almost equals in terms of conquers and armament Haki because they clashed equally using Haki. For future sight, it's not confirmed that they are access to it, but likely they do, so I think they are relatives in terms of overall Haki, but what do you guys think? I've explained this in most of my videos. Advanced infusing increases your general power like speed. You can tell that from Wano arc, especially Kaido, and how can he blitz Luffy in his slowest form. And Yamato can match the same speed with Luffy's fastest form in her base form. Let's take Luffy as the example here for more understanding of advanced infusing. Luffy used future sight but still got blitzed by base Kaido's Thunder Bagua, but later, after he unlocked advanced infusing, Luffy dodged Thunder Bagua from Hybrid Kaido, and this Kaido is way faster than base Kaido for sure. In other words, advanced infusing isn't just about AP but increases your general power. Because I don't think Kaido would say only a handful of the very strongest can use this ability if it's just about AP. Just compare Luffy with and without it, so if Whitebeard and Roger almost share the same level of Haki, then they should be equals. I think movement speed goes to Roger, and that's debatable, but for combat speed, which matters more, they should be equals in my honest opinion. Stamina goes to Whitebeard because he got better feats and physically better than Roger. In the Weaver card, it said that he had immense power, which means his physical capabilities are crazy, so I think his stamina is likely better than Roger. The only thing that can make this debatable is Whitebeard's Devil Fruit, because using Devil Fruit consumes stamina. In terms of overall defense, it goes to Whitebeard, like he showed great feats in the Great War despite of his illness. He took many fatal injuries but still able to fight and die standing. Absolutely impressive, although it's kinda plot armor in my opinion. So endurance and durability goes to Whitebeard because otherwise is a bad argument in my opinion. On top of all of this, don't forget his Devil Fruit will be annoying for Roger, and put in mind that Roger can't cancel all of the abilities because Whitebeard's Haki is equal to Roger. Now obviously Whitebeard would win this fight because nothing can prove otherwise. Both Whitebeard and Roger are legends, so I will be respectful and say extreme death. I want you to give me your honest opinion about this fight and the difficulty, of course. The reason why people think that they are equals is because of the 3 days fight, but here's the big question. Give me one reason for Whitebeard or Roger to beat each other for. No matter how you try to find a reason, no one of them is seriously trying to beat the other. Because Whitebeard doesn't care about being the Pirate King, and Roger is not a threat to Whitebeard's family. So this fight doesn't make sense in terms of power scaling, or why would they celebrate after this fight? They are more likely friends than enemies, and for the statements it doesn't make sense too, because in the databook Oda says that Marco is equal to Kizaru and Vista is equal to Mihawk, so let me explain this. Because Kizaru didn't beat Marco or Mihawk didn't beat Vista, Oda can't just say that Kizaru defeated Marco or Mihawk defeated Vista. Because we know that Kizaru and Mihawk were holding back, so you have to think more when it comes to power scaling. And Oda said that he doesn't care about power scaling but cares more about the story itself. Like, we know for a fact that Kaido is stronger than Big Mom, but they were fighting for 3 days just like Roger and Whitebeard. So the concept of equality doesn't make sense in terms of power scaling because someone has to be stronger in my opinion. Or why would Oda say Whitebeard is the strongest man in Roger's era if he's not, or if Roger is actually stronger than him? In conclusion, there's nothing that could put Roger above Whitebeard. On the other hand, Whitebeard is stated as the strongest man by Oda. And Whitebeard is not called the strongest because he can destroy the world as some people think. According to the Weaver card, as he had immense power, and as I explained, you have to be strong to be the Pirate King, but not with strength only. That's all I got for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, guys. Let me hear your thoughts and think about the questions I've asked, and see you in the next one.